Hey everyone, Logan from the Wilsey Farm channel, and today I'm heading out in the woods because we're going to be making Christmas wreaths. Since everything that we're trying to do here is going to be biodegradable and homemade, you want to try and find yourself something in nature. Let me see if I can actually look at it. Like these vines up here, I'm not sure if you can see it, it's so foggy. But these are all really green and bendable and they make a great ring. So the first thing we need to do is source materials for a ring. Little tiny saplings that are green and alive, those are also good. But vines like grapevines and things like that work the best because we can triple them up or double them up and tie them together and it'll make a really strong ring. Also guys, any of the softer evergreens, like this tree here behind me, you can see is a white pine, and I just took a branch off of it and look how flexible this thing is. And obviously it already has little bits of needles and such on it, so it'll already kind of disguise the ring behind it. So grab a few of those. Also, if you want, just take a walk through the woods and you'll be able to tell what's the best for what you're looking for. If you're going for a bigger wreath, something a lot bigger, like let's say a 5-foot circle, you obviously don't need something as flexible and you can get something strong. But for these little 18 to 20 inch wreaths, I think we're gonna grab a bunch of these also because this looks really good. Alright guys, and then next step is just to gather a bunch of these little boughs that we can tie to the wreath. Here we have a cool red pine tree, there's white pine, Scotch pines, and then we're gonna go down to some of the lower lots and grab spruce and also anything cool like any winter berries or pine cones. As you can see, the fog lifted now and it's beautiful out, blue skies. So just have a good time with it and grab anything you think looks cool. Okay, so you can see here we have our grapevine that we gathered, and I started off, I took about, I would say a 3-foot piece, and I cleaned up all the little branches that were on it and took all these little burrs off. And then I just overlapped it by about 3 inches. And then using like a cross hatching pattern with the twine, I just wrapped it around so that I could do it by myself. And then just a really simple knot on top, and make sure you leave more string than you need so that it's easy to tie this knot. And then afterwards you can just clip off the excess so that it's hidden. Like that. And then we're gonna take about 2 more probably around the same size, and we're gonna wrap them together and make this thing really strong. Alright, so here we have just a couple rings that we made, and you can see they're all intertwined. I actually wove the grapevines together and then tied them off at the start and finish points. And they're nice and rugged, but they're not too firm. And so now we're ready to take our boughs. We're gonna cut them up and display them nicely and then tie them around our rings that we made. So this morning you can see we picked a bunch of different evergreen branches, and they're all pretty long so that we have a lot of different things to choose from. And we also selected some with pine cones on them to add as decoration. So now we're just gonna go through and we're gonna just clip what we think looks good, and we'll bring it over and we'll assemble it, and then we'll show you that. Cut it. Alright, so here's our first one that we have tied off to the stem or the ring, and we just used twine, and just wrapped it around a bunch of times and then tied it down tight. And don't worry about what's going to be showing, because the last one or the next one you can use to cover that. So our next one's going to fan out over that, so it's not a concern at all. And here you can see kind of an up close shot. So now you can see we have our second one tied on, and it's overlapping the other burlap. You can't even see it, or the twine. You can't even see it under there. So now we're just gonna keep working around until we get all the way around the circle, and then we'll put extra little things in like the pine cones and some of the berries that we picked. Okay, now here's our third tied on. Alright, now here we have section number 4 tied on. Almost halfway there, I would say, maybe 5 more to go. Alright guys, so here we are all finished finally, and this probably took, I would say, around 45 minutes to make, and it was super easy. Just make sure that you cut yourself enough string that you can loop it around a bunch of times to tie all these boughs to this. As you can see, the back of it is covered in twine there, but they're all on there really secure. And then I got some pine cones and some of these berries and just tied them on after, just onto the side there. So don't be afraid to go out and try it yourself. It was surprisingly easy. This is the first one I've ever made. So hope you guys liked the video. Please like, subscribe, and follow. Thanks.